It'd be really, really exciting. You missed it this afternoon when they were rehearsing?
I did see the rehearsal, yeah.
But you know, out here we've got Louis Bellson, who is one of the fine, fine drummers in the world. I don't know even know how you equate drummers when they're this good. And of course, Buddy Rich has won about every poll, I guess, in his life that you can win. The Playboy poll. The album Mercy Mercy is number 3 on the charts, I hear.
In 1969, late-night talk show host Johnny Carson invited jazz drummers Louis Bellson and Buddy Rich onto The Tonight Show. They played a few minutes of pretty standard big band jazz, and then this happened. This was on March 6, 1969. On March 5th, a serial killer named Tony Costa was arrested in Boston. He was convicted of 2 counts of murder, but he was suspected of more. He had removed the hearts of the victims they'd found. Kurt Vonnegut compared him to Jack the Ripper. Across the globe, South Vietnamese Prime Minister Tran Van Huong was almost killed by the Viet Cong. This was an attempt to hamstring the response to the American intervention in Vietnam. They wanted the war to end. They wanted their freedom back. They wanted a day without machine gun fire, without the fear, like the people of Boston, that they'd have their hearts taken out. On March 6th, like machine gun fire on national television. It was a sign. No one listened. The noise continued. There would be more death, more killing. It would play out on national television like a drum solo.
Did you call us animals, Dick?
He's an animal.
Now, please,
How do you answer that? Go ahead.
I meant that merely in the most flattering sense.
Could I say hello to my mother? Because that was the first thing Mom, I want to tell you hello.
It was like the old days of boxing.
And to Sonny and the construction crew at Universal, I say hello.
Hi, Sonny.
What else? We don't know anyone else.
Is the bar open?
The late-night television circuit was always a place where chaos threatened to break out, but mostly was kept under wraps. Exciting things, however, crept through the cracks.
Once again, Philip Glass and the Philip Glass Ensemble.
Late-night television always held on to a modicum of edginess. I was born in 1989, so right around the time I discovered the virtues of staying up late and took an interest in music beyond what was playing on the radio, whole ages of music had come and gone. I had missed so much of what defined it. I still struggle to keep up with Russian classical music from hundreds of years ago, let alone every punk band from the 80s, or indeed every pop band today. I missed XTC playing their only American TV appearances.
Stepping stones of human hearts and souls into the land of nothing for free. Well, the way that we're living is no taking, no giving. There's nothing to believe in. The loudest mouths will hail the newfound way to be kicked for a day.
I missed suicide, but was around for MIA, remixing Ghost Rider. I'd missed Elliott Smith's few TV appearances before his murder. I'd missed the golden age of country, Portishead on SNL.
It's only you who can tell me apart. And it's only you who can turn my wondering heart.
Well, I've had a wonderful time tonight, and I hope everyone else has. I'd like to thank our guests, Philip Glass, Loudon Wainwright, and David Mansfield, who so graciously agreed to back up all of us on the Lullaby song.
He was great.
And Debbie Harry. And also Dave Thomas and Per Ubu, who are going to help us end the night with their song, Waiting for Mary.
Michelob's Night Music, which improbably gathered Per Ubu and Debbie Harry. Worlds, galaxies.
Welcome to Mars, it's open all hours. What are we doing here? Feels in the back end of friends on the phone saying, what are we doing here? And you're never alone in the twilight zone. What are we doing here? Oh, Mary, that's right, waiting for Mary. Okay, waiting for Mary. Oh.
What made me finally start paying attention to what was happening on late night and discovering what a treasure trove it could be was when Warren Zevon visited his old friend David Letterman's show the year before his death. By then I'd seen a lot on TV. This was the era of Tom Green's testicular cancer surgery running on television after I came home from school. But I'd never seen someone so aware of their own mortality, someone sitting in a chair talking about the inevitability of their demise.
You know, I just figure that if artists don't have, well, I guess artists have some kind of instincts or, you know, feelings about things that can't be put into words, you know, kind of impressions combined with very rudimentary manual skills.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, how would you get away with having a job so easy and so much fun?
So you're saying that you think maybe somewhere this comes as not so much a surprise to you?
Well, I can't really complain.
Yeah.
I did take the copies of the albums to my doctors and say, this is why I'm not so shocked.
Yeah.
But I don't know what the connection is. I don't know why I was writing those songs, but you know, I've always written them.
Yeah. And Mr. Bad Example, a song. Now, I know, I guess everybody who knows you knows that you did enjoy yourself to the point of punishing others, really, at some point. And
well, that's not really the way you put it outside of meetings, but if you want to say so, that's okay.
Emotionally speaking.
Well, yeah, I know how you meant it.
And did you think that contributed to the lung cancer?
Punishing people emotionally?
No. Maybe not taking care of yourself.
I think that, you know, I think that I chose a certain path and lived like Jim Morrison and then lived 30 more years. Who knows why?
Yeah. Do you
make choices and then you have to live with the consequences. There are always consequences.
From your perspective now, do you know something about life and death that maybe I don't know now?
Not unless I know how much you're supposed to enjoy every sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I hadn't really pondered death like this before. Letterman, the biggest music fan in late night, requested Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. This performance stops me dead every time.
Roland was a warrior from the land of the midnight sun, with a Thompson gun for hire and fighting to be done. The deal was made in Denmark on a dark and stormy day, so he set out for Biafra to join the bloody fray. Through 66 and 7, they fought the Congo War with their fingers on their triggers, knee deep in gore. For days and nights they battled the Bantu to their knees. They killed to earn their living and to help out the Congolese. Roland the Thompson Gunner, Roland the Thompson Gunner. His comrades fought beside him, Van Owen and the rest. But of all the Thompson Gunners, Rowan was the best. So the CIA decided they wanted Roland dead, and that son of a bitch Van Owen blew off Roland's head. Time the Headless Thompson Gunner. Peaceful war. Time stand still for Roland till he evens up the score. They can still see his headless body stalking through the night in the muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun. In the muzzle flash of Roland's Thompson gun.
My best friend in the world, Tucker Johnson, my co-writer and editor on The End of History, and who provided invaluable insight into this essay. We talk about Zevon like most people talk about the Beatles or Dylan or the Rolling Stones. He's everything. A few years later, Zevon's son Jordan and Dylan's son Jacob would come back and play Lawyers, Guns, and Money, a song tinged with the agony of survival and the beauty of living life.
With the waitress, the way I always do. Oh, how was I to know that she was with the Russians too? I was gambling in Havana. Yeah, I took a little risk. Said lawyers, guns, and money. Yeah, get me out of this. Hi! I am the innocent bystander. Well, somehow I got stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I'm down on my luck, and I'm down on my luck, and I'm down on my luck.
Zevon dying to me was the end of the relevance of the classic rock era. Dylan's still around, of course. His Nobel Prize was then a decade and change away, and God knows most of these bands still tour. But Zevon was the soul of the days of old songwriters and hell-raising rockers. After him, it was only Tom Waits and Richard Thompson. Furthermore, he did this in New York, which was then still rebounding from 9/11. It crudely encapsulated this world that we would never get to visit again.
The night, and now it's 10 years later, but he still keeps up the fight. In Ireland, in Lebanon, in Palestine, and Berkeley. Matty Hearst heard the burst of a Rollins Thompson gun and bought it.
Yes, sir. There you go. Warren Zevon, everybody. Warren, enjoy every sandwich. We'll see you tomorrow night.
In 2002, my family got a DVD burner to replace the VHS we once had. The days of videotaping premieres of shows or movies that you never saw on shelves at Blockbuster were over. TiVo came soon after, and I didn't need to stay up late to watch the musical performances I would otherwise have missed. Soon all I had to do was record any show listing with a musical guest that sounded remotely interesting and put it on DVD to watch later. What this meant was I was in a prime spot to watch the run-up to the 2004 election through musical performances. A peculiar phenomenon I'm glad I caught, because what I didn't know or understand about the political climate of America post 9/11 was that a guy with a guitar could put it into song, and I would figure it all out later. So much happened before my eyes that I didn't understand, and now seems poignant, if perhaps quaint. Can a song save your life? Can it change the world? It took a while to go back and really take stock of what it had been like to watch even seasoned pros used to improvising deal with the world changing on 9/11. The major network stars then were Letterman and Jay Leno, who despised each other. Letterman with cause, Leno because he wasn't funny and was deeply envious of his CBS frenemy. Leno took over Carson's Tonight Show on NBC, causing such a stir that they made a bad TV movie about it. Conan O'Brien was an absurdist in the vein of Letterman. Former Daily Show host and sports anchor Craig Kilborn didn't really seem to want to be doing a variety show, and got out of his contract as soon as he could, giving the job to Craig Ferguson in 2004, after just 5 years. Carson Daly was still on MTV at the time, but he'd take the third slot on NBC's late-night block. But more importantly, Letterman had the best sound in late night, and he insisted his band help out with the musical performances to augment the sound and make something even more beautifully inclusive.
That's when I saw her, oh I saw her, she walked into the outdoor. She wore a best baby beret, the kind you find in a second-hand store. Best baby beret, and when it was warm she didn't wear much more.
That was something I would learn to continue to watch these performances to embrace. Letterman and music director Paul Schaefer clearly took care to design the broadcast audio so that the bands sounded as good or better than they did on their records, or live in the best venues, not least because Schaefer and his band were so often a part of the performances. Conan, despite being a music lover, had a muted signal on his show, and things were frequently crowded and sanded down in the mix.
Queens of the Stone Age.
Kimmel's feed was consistently weak, and some bands fared better than others coming through it.
There's the shoreline like a room. We put some love with stress. We're neither clear nor distressed. We can be safe and slow. The quiet things that we never. So keep the blood in your hand. Tears and dedicated time. Feeling the body and bed. Wasting words and lowercase and capital.
The Late Late Show always seemed in danger of peaking, but there was a kind of excitement to that. Could the microphones handle the sound of rock and roll? After the Clash played the late night shows in their heyday, something had to be done to contain all of that noise. Before 9/11, it was still something of a scandal to have metal on the late-night talk shows. Like Satan himself had stepped on the set. Disruption and aggravation. Culture hadn't adjusted properly to loud music and what it stood for. The sound of drums wasn't something you listened to with a martini in your hands while the Carson show closed out.
Inside the shadow waits as we I'm the air rise up
Metal music was, along with movies and video games, blamed in no small part for the fatal shooting of a dozen kids by two of their classmates at Columbine High School in Colorado. Androgynous Marilyn Manson became persona non grata to the Tipper Gore set. I wonder if they felt vindicated later. Something tells me none of them would have had anything to say if you had asked them. Metal, never popular in America, between the satanic imagery and lyrics about sex and drugs and murder, became untouchable. Kids and their loud music were here to stay, in between check-ins with writers who had had storied careers to give the shows a whiff of the cosmopolitan, an air they used to cultivate back when, though the context was forever spoiled.
Talk about all of these
Let me
things.
just explain one thing to you.
Yes.
That this is the kingdom of fear, as I say here.
Oh,
and
the book
you
club.
are a perfect example of being a victim. You've, it's clearly rattled you badly. And,
I am a victim?
Yeah.
Why? How do you say I'm a victim? How am I a victim? Look at me. I'm happy-go-lucky. I'm a happy guy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's good. No, don't worry.
Huh? Oh.
Of course, the splinters caught in everyone's hand from a dicey culture handover was nothing compared to what was on the horizon. On December 24th, 1979, country songwriter Mac Davis hosted a Christmas special on NBC called With Love. Across the Atlantic Ocean, Russian troops invaded Afghanistan. Brendan James and Noah Colwyn's Blowback podcast gets into the hows and whys. The CIA conspired to bait the Soviet Union into the invasion so that it had an excuse to give them their own Vietnam War, as America never got over their defeat there. When the Russians left, there was a power vacuum easily filled by warlords backed by the United States government's money and weapons. Afghanistan would never recover. In the 90s, as our culture war was introducing long hairs back to baby boomers and church groups, these warlords were beginning to finance terrorist actions all over the globe, and the United States spent the bulk of the time playing catch-up and getting bogged down in further unnecessary conflict. They knew these guys could and likely would attack us for our hubris, and for the very system gaming and money laundering and arms dealing that had made them so attractive to extremists in the State Department in the first place. And then, this was Jay Leno's musical guest on the 10th of September.
Ran into a friend of yours the other day, and I asked her how you been. She said, my girl is fine, just bought a house, got a job, a real good man. I told her I was glad for you, that's wonderful, but does she ever ask about me? She said she's happy with her life right now. Let her go, let her be. And I told myself I would, but something in my heart just would not let you go. I just wanna know, what if we were wrong about each other? What if you were really made for me? What if we were supposed to be together? Would that not mean anything? What if that was supposed to be my house that you go home to every day? How can you be sure that things are better if you can't be sure in your heart is still here with me? Still with me, baby, still want to leave. Now that could be my car, that could be my house, that could be my baby boy that you nurse. That could be the trash that I always take out. That could be the chair that I love to chill in. That could be my food on the table at the end of the day. The hugs and the kisses, all the love we made. Say what the hell do you expect me to say? What if it's really supposed to be this way? What if you're really supposed to be with me?
Most late-night TV shows didn't return until the 18th. Here's Conan's monologue. His tremulous delivery is extremely touching. Alone among his peers, Conan was bad at hiding his emotions.
Thank you. This is our first show back on the air since the tragic events last week here in New York City. And I want to begin, I said this just before we started taping, but I want to begin by thanking a studio audience that would come here and support New York and the show and everything, just the situation in general, for being here. I think it's tremendous that you could be here. I also want to say that it's not my place, it's not what I do to put this in perspective. It's not what I do to try and help us understand what's happened in the last week. I make a living acting like an ass, generally, and for those of you who've seen the show, you know that that's sadly true, and no one's looking to me to put this in perspective. But what I do need to do, what's very important to do, is to tell you that we are a show that's done out of New York. We are a show that's done here in New York City. There are about 104 people that work on this show, and they live here and they work here, and all of us have been affected by what's happened here. And last Friday, we got together and we tried to decide, can we go and do shows now? When can we go do shows? Can we start on Tuesday doing a show? And I have to be very honest with you, a lot of people felt that we shouldn't, that we couldn't, that it wasn't the right time. And yet, I felt strongly, and a bunch of people on the staff felt strongly, that we have to get back to work. It's what all of us have to do.
He had New York-based violinist Joshua Bell as the musical guest. The following day, Jay Farrar came on.
Caught between two worlds, don't wanna be fenced in. Caught between two worlds, don't wanna be fenced in. Scattered along the way must be some understanding. Handwritten skyline, room for ideals ascending.
Jay Leno had Crosby, Stills, and Nash on his show. The tone being struck across the networks was clear. Who were we anymore? Was life still the same? The sweetness of the music, like a choir, ringing in a new era. For Americans, life would never be the same, but we didn't really understand it yet. Just as we didn't know just how carefully and extravagantly our government had paid for 9/11 in installments ever since that day in 1979. As George W. Bush and his cabinet prepared for a symbolic war against innocent people who had nothing to do with 9/11, Americans bowed their heads to the sound of plaintive acoustic guitars.
How my father's bled. I think I see a valley covered with bones in blue. All the brave soldiers that cannot get older been asking after you.
Divergent schools of thought among the bookers starts to become evident. What do you do in the wake of something like this? The mood of contemplation started giving way to celebration. We were alive. Wasn't it great to be alive?
Everybody, we're back. My next guests are here to perform one of their biggest hits, and they'll be appearing this Tuesday and Wednesday at Higher Ground in Winooski, Vermont. Please welcome Toots and the Maytals.
Now everybody sing with me. I'm just going from north to south now. Over America, people always want to see funky Kingston now. Well, I ain't got no rather funky Kingston, no. Somebody take it away from me.
Performances later in the year by Star Sailor and Jimmy Eat World spoke to this contradiction beautifully. Everything would be all right.
I sleep every
much as I hate to call Jim Adkins a liar, no, it wouldn't, though 12-year-old me had no way of knowing it. I was always very much in sync with their sound and messaging. I was 11, and emo was just arriving. But these guys, the first shot across the bow for me, were much needed and much appreciated at the time. After my first serious romantic rejection, I played Jimmy Eat World. It basically worked. 12-year-old me had both just discovered heartache and was living in a world where I had absolutely no idea what was happening. I'd lived through the 96 and 2000 elections, and though voter fraud was still very much on everyone's mind, there was at least something normal about what had happened beforehand. A rigged election, isn't that just what Americans do? 9/11 was different. What on earth happens now? What's the chain of command? When's the next attack? Are we safe? And furthermore, what does this mean for culture? America bombed Afghanistan on October 7th. My parents took the American flag down from the front of our house the next day. And by November, Conan had Dr. John on, which is about as sure a sign of business as usual as you were ever going to find on television.
Gonna make it real funky. Come on! A little food for thought. Food for thought. Food for thought. Food for thought. Oh, give it to me. Come on! A little food for thought. Food for thought. I like that. Food for thought. Food for thought. Woo! You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Something a little more interesting was happening musically during this era, fueled by the chaotic nature of the search for normalcy in a country that desperately wished it were at war for revenge. Instead of whatever you want to call our invasion of Afghanistan, it would come out later that we had airlifted our extremist contacts to Pakistan before the war ever began. The people whose fault this might have been, protected by the people who were coming to kill them. Conan took his responsibility as a curator very seriously and started his relationship with, among other bands, the Strokes, who would become very important characters on his show in the future. But this made sense. They were New Yorkers, after all, and they had just taken off a piss-take song called New York City Cops from their debut album. That song was about as political as the Strokes would ever wind up getting, which made them safe. But they were also the first emissaries of the indie rock of the new millennium.
Stop pretending. It seems this game is simply never ending. Oh, in the sun, having fun. It's in my blood. I just can't help it. I want you right now. Let me go. Oh, darling, let me. Oh, go. Leaving just in time. Stay there for a while. Rolling in the ocean. Trying to catch your eye. Work hard and say it's easy. Do it just to please me. Tomorrow will be different. So I pretend I'm leaving.
Indie rock as we knew it, or know it, wasn't a thing yet. The Strokes were the first band to make it clear that something was changing in American music, and they were the headliners of the first concert I ever saw, a festival in Camden, New Jersey in 2004. They sounded like garage rock, but they were young kids with sleepy eyes and standoffish, coked-up energy. There was something obviously insouciant about drudging up the pretty things in 2001, about sounding like a forgotten, unsuccessful 60s band on purpose. If they didn't have hooks, it might not have worked.
Oh man,
They were not just a major band, they were evidence of Point Break. After they'd surfed the first wave, there was an explosion of revival garage rock, and Conan's show made sure to be ground zero for this new retro posture. The Vines, the Mooney Suzuki, Kings of Leon, back when they still qualified.
I feel so she could bleed, that's why she never stayed. Away, but naked in the night and looking for some pay. Just another girl that wants to rule the world at any time or place.
Eagles of death metal, the Black Keys, Jet, the Von Bondies, the Libertines. In fact, the climate was so rich with fuzz that the MC5 reunited in 2004.
Right now it's time to kick out the jams.
And then, of course, there was the White Stripes. The White Stripes were such a huge deal that if Jack White beat you up in a bar, your band became famous afterwards. That was the story of the Detroit band, the Von Bondies. Jason Stolzheimer wore a telltale shiner for a few weeks after the fight. Who was Jack White? His assailant? Well, he was the weirdest man in rock and roll. He revived Loretta Lynn's career just because he could.
It was much too late for the both of us in Oregon. Well, slow Jesus was 95. When you drink about a picture in my five glass, If I tell you before you close, pour us one more drink and a picture to go. And a picture to go.
The White Stripes made their TV debut in 2002, when garage was becoming unavoidable. Conan loved him right away. They had clearly listened to a lot of the same LPs and fetishized guitars in the same way. And so did any young man who first saw this when it happened, in the middle of a 5-night residency. Like someone flipped your on switch. I got my first guitar in the thick of all this. Still have it.
Well, I'm going back to Memphis. Well, I'm going back to Memphis on Highway 51. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, come on now, let's keep it going. We got one chance left. We got one chance left, baby. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, you know that when I get there, you know that when I get there, well, you know that when I get there, I'm sure gonna have my fun. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Tell me who's that riding? John knows the road of the book of the seven seals. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Garage was destined to fail as a long-term movement. Sameness of sound and temperamental personalities wouldn't survive for very long. Indie fans wanted variety and emotion, and older rock fans didn't want to listen to what these punk kids wanted. And then, of course, there were the self-destructive types fronting these bands. Many just embraced the mainstream. Others didn't, to their detriment and ultimate disillusion. It was perfect music for the time. I was in middle school, dying of longing for human connection, frustrated and without creative outlets I yet understood. It's probably not true that every kid is suicidal at some point, but embarrassment and frustration and emotional investment in people who do not think about you, or worse, do, in terrifying, non-reciprocal ways, it's enough to push any kid to the brink. So yes, screaming and thrashing to this music let something loose in me and in so many other kids. There wasn't much of a political perspective, but the unfocused aggression and catchy hooks at a time when fever for war was gripping the nation. It was a closed circuit. You feel bad, so you drown everything out with loud guitars, and you don't deal with your emotions. You feel bad, you need the music again. All the while, the war in Afghanistan was not curbing the bloodlust of Americans who couldn't help but notice we hadn't yet caught Osama bin Laden. We'd been promised more. More destruction, more lives, more blood, and more discrimination. The war was the never-ending topic at our school, in assemblies, in civics class, at poetry readings. As 2002 went on, the narrative shifted from Afghanistan to Iraq, and the Islamophobia continued, getting worse and worse all the time. I remember cars with bumper stickers that said, "Let freedom ring with a shotgun," next to pictures of the towers. Angry music was about all the solace that some of us had. Bruce Springsteen reunited the E Street Band and hit the late shows by force. America needed Little Steven, Clarence Clemens, and the Boss on stage again.
Kate long sighs, old and Kitty's black too. She left to marry some tough cat, ain't it the cold truth? Can't see nothing in front of me. Can't see nothing coming up behind. Make my way through this darkness. Can't feel nothing but this chain that binds me. Lost track of how far gone, how far gone, how high I climb. On my back's a 60-pound stone. On my shoulder, half-mile line. Come on up for a rising. Come on up and lay your heads in mine. Come on up for a rising. Come on up for a rising tonight. If the house is small, bells ringing, fill the air. When I cross on the car.
didn't matter that they were from New Jersey. They were the unofficial mascot of putting New York back together. It's absolutely towing a hokey liberal party line about the band that they represent the best of America, but God help me, during these performances it just feels true.
We've split the wood and stoked the fires. We've lit our town so there is no place for crime to hide. Our little church is painted white, and in the safety of the night we all go quiet as a mouse, for the word is out. God is in the house. God is in the house. God is in the house. No cause for worry now. God is in the house. Morals.
In January of 2003, Bush announced the Axis of Evil. We'd need more than Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band's soothing vibes to get through this.
That stuff here, we got a tiny little force, yeah, but we need them, of course, for the kittens in the trees, and at night we're on our knees, as quiet as a mouse. God is in the house.
And all that hoopla would still remain cool. Jurassic is taken. How could you figure it? Right off the bat, if you thought you would be ignorant or just stupid or cold dumb, cause we play new place, cut dust, suckers get torn, but we gotta break. Here come the song. And don't stop. A party people in the place rock on.
Equally well represented was hip-hop, and just as equally difficult to pin to a single moment or movement, or even coast any longer. Both iterations of Outkast appeared.
Outkast is everlasting, not clashing, not at all. But see, my boy want to do a little acting. Now that for anyone ask, give me one pass, some drip, drip, drop. There goes the sarcasm.
I said, can I count it all? Yeah. 1, 2, 3. My baby don't mess around because she loves me so. And this I know for sure.
The Roots played what would become the theme song of the Jimmy Fallon Tonight Show when they became his house band.
He said, Dad, you better come out with your hands up, we got you surrounded. I'm in the back, chasing my outfit. He said, Blink, we gon' send them pounds in. I said, wait, here I come, here I come, here I come. You boys get ready. Here I come, here I come, here I come. Say that, y'all. I'm so brother 100.
History made, one song at a time, night after night. But those artists, not overly taken with a fashionable superficiality, lived up to the dictates of hip-hop as outlined by Chuck D of Public Enemy, to be the CNN for young black audiences.
Every day is a brand new day. This is for Brooklyn, hometown. Listen, I don't hate players. I don't love the game. I'm the shot clock. Way above the game to be point blank with you, mother bump the game. I got all this work on me, I ain't come for play. You can show the little shorties how you bump and fake, but dog, not to death. I'm not impressed, I'm not amused, I'm not confused, I'm not the dude. Grown man business, I am not in school. Stay cool, stay cool.
Hip-hop, my main bitch, I got a few on the side, the game snitched. I'm doing my job, up against enormous odds. Wouldn't break a sweat, wanna make a bet. 20 cents with threat, well I ain't shaking yet. 24/7 chillin', and tough as penicillin on the block. Crooked cops killing like a villain. Children in the hood getting rock bodybuilders. Brothers across the world getting
Get your hands up, get your hands up, and get your hands up. It's like this, let's go. Infamous up in this shit and how we get down. It's that Joe girl, she feeling our style. We come through the spot real heavy on the waist. So when they wanna move, we put them in their place. Infamous up in this shit and how we get down. It's that Joe girl, she feeling our style. We come through the spot real heavy on the waist. So when they wanna move, all I want you to do is get involved with me. Notified, genuine.
Timberland, get involved, the mirror, that freaky talk, that freaky licky talk. I ain't gotta take it all. I just wanna get involved. I just wanna get involved. I just wanna get involved.
Are we ready? Put 'em up! I don't mean to come on too strong, but girl, you make me weak. Look so pretty, so innocent, make me wanna bring out the freak. Ain't gotta be scared, go ahead, let it out. Niggas stay between. You and me. We can turn in, I'll be turning you out. If you take my hand and leave. Get down, come on, girl, get involved. When you get down, come on, girl, get involved. When you get down, come on, girl. It's Saturday night, but I can't wait for Sunday morning. Sunday morning. It's the same thing back in the cold. People know, people come and go, and boys be same thing. Seems like I'm trapped in the world with a serve in the face of time. Time waits on no man, so when people fall asleep.
At its best, perfect form and true experimentation reigned supreme. Hip-hop, more than rock music, was ruled by innovators. Not least by a pre-insanity Kanye West. But heaven knows he was hardly the only great rapper to go down for destructive behavior.
Yeah, David Letterman. West Coast is in the building. Paul Schaefer. Yeah. Come on, bounce. Come on, bounce. Come on, bounce. Come on, bounce. Everybody just bounce. Come on, bounce. Come on, bounce. Yo, check it. Yeah, pull the rag off the 6-4. Hit the switch, tell the whole world how it go. The game is back, the aftermath chain is gone. The D's is chrome, the frame is black. So to the low rider bounces and knock both for the screws out the license plate. Let the games begin. These other rappers so far behind they can taste my rims.
Rappers use TV as a way to expand their sound and reach, to collaborate in unique ways, and to push their presentation to new heights. When rock faded and stopped pushing itself forward, hip-hop continued to evolve. Indeed, years after late night itself grew to complete cultural irrelevance, the guests managed to rescue it from a pile of unwanted memes and trends.
They say time heals on, but if I could shortcut my success, Corvettes, but I'm on, But why it's so sad, walking around with them blue faces. They say I'm down on my luck, and it's something I gotta have, blue faces. I hit the bank today and tell them color me bad, blue faces. Get that new money, and it's breaking me down. My homegirl got a credit card scam. She got a scholarship to college, but she don't give a damn. And to wish she got a black woman wishing. She saying this on the phone with the news in the pen. I know your woman, I console your woman. You feel like the universe owe your woman. Oh, the anticipation. Hoping you could make it. Women don't prosper chasing education. But you're talented and can't handle it. And your homegirl.
A little toast to the no ones. With an eye to the masters. To the ones with the riches. From the ones who the rags fit. A little smoke for the gone boys. A little nod to the spirits. We're still here running around screaming. They're still here putting in laughing. Don't walk away when I talk. Telling you, turn around, mister. I got a permanent block. Who the hell do I think I am not? And I'm twice as hot as about half a hell. Can't fight hospital. Get down to the boy, got a barracuda fight, you can tell.
Got hope for the living. Got prayers for the dead. In the sky, got whiskey and ride for the voices in my head. Got push for the pain. This world is dangerous. Drive me, break me, and insane. Hang up yourself with angel dust. Somewhere between them. These eyes fast cats. Lining them up like ass crack. Ladies, ponies, at the track. It's my chocolate little time. Shit it up, sipping in harder this shit. Yeah, been whipping in harder this shit. Watch me as I navigate. We got ghost sound in Motown with your sound. You and the place gon' fight with us, then fight with us. With your sound, you killing it. So don't stop, get it. We hot and cats is in it, steady walking down again. We on the corner serving that rock and roll. Closing on the road with the rock and roll. With the rock and Willie Nelson, who run flushed and knock it down. Cowboy rap, hammer game trusty. Diamonds on for Ghana. Boca Raton yacht with the middle name Chef.
The key for 3 villains.
Yeah.
Been on in the game as long as he can Willie swing.
Hey.
Turn the corner, spinning, bust that ass and
Get up.
Dust off the mask, whoever laughed, give him a head up.
Hey.
He got jumped, they pumped his adrenaline. They said it made him tougher than a bumper raw medicine. To write all night long, the hourglass is still slow. Flow from hell born through free power like Milko. And still owe bills, pay dues forever. Play crews when it comes to who's more cleverer.
Going to a small liberal school meant that we all knew about the civil rights rollbacks post 9/11 as they were happening. We would read headlines in assemblies like they were slam poetry. There were, I think, 5 active conservatives. It made sorting out the truth easier because so few of our professors had any interest in the official version of events. They wanted to help raise smarter kids who'd question that version of things. As you learn what really happened when Columbus came to America, or who really started the war on drugs, it helps to have music as angry as you feel on your portable CD player. The iPod was still a year away. The culture's response to the Iraq War ramping up, then transpiring brutally and terribly, had to go hand in hand with its own inward response to the idea of a world outside of our control. Does a teenager mad about the death of innocents put more effort into that? Or how miserable the world has made them feel about themselves? There was so little hope to be found, so the tug-of-war between indie triumphalism, inward-looking self-critique, and outward angry rock music played out every night in the final 10 minutes of any given late-night TV show. Did we want to feel better about a shit situation, or did we want to make everyone be as outraged as we were? A strain of paranoid, anxious rock started making its way into the mainstream, where it became difficult to ignore as the underreported national mood. This was a crucial moment, because it introduced me to post-punk music, having missed the first wave by virtue of being born after it was over. Interpol was my gateway drug, not just into this darker, oppressively, perfectly hopeless kind of music, but the idea of confessional art that seemed to be pure goth abstraction, a rendering of a state of mind more than a concrete idea. This is what it feels like, I thought to myself. This is what it is to be alive. This sadness, this is it. I had found my music in the inverse of the Strokes. This was more powerful and more seductive and empathetic than the quirkiest pop music, in a rush to tell me that it was going to be all right. I started my first relationship that winter, and I had no way of knowing what was happening out in the world. Like most American teenagers, I was struggling hard to see past my own miserable myopia. Music threw me a lifeline. See past yourself. See what is happening. The Strokes and the White Stripes both had residencies on Conan that year. But even then, they seemed less immediate and undeniable and powerful than the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Who joined the Strokes' New York indie music invasion. Karen O, with her singular fashion sense, an equally singular squeal. Nick Zinner's improbable avant-punk guitar heroics. Brian Chase's steady, deafening drums. They seemed like the future, and everything's on the surface, yet giving the unmistakable impression that there were dark, secret things buried below. Things we'd need when nothing got better. Indie rock fed me a new identity, one song at a time, a way out of my own catastrophic, self-centered depression, as everything seemed to burn around the globe. Glimmers of resistance and hope.
If I could, forever if I may, keep me in your thoughts, don't disappear. I am on your side, and
I went to music festivals, started seeing shows way more regularly. Somehow saw Aftermar 3 times in a year. Still not sure how that happened. My first relationship turned to emotional abuse, and I started lying to survive. I couldn't unlearn that habit because I wouldn't be single for the next 18 years. The first one ended, the second one began. We bonded over music. It was our way of communicating. I guess we couldn't do it publicly. She was dating my best friend, and so we would listen to Ben Queller, to Sandra Lurke, to Iron and Wine. I was faced with choices I didn't know how to make. We told each other things we promised to keep secret. We have memories only we will know when we die. We'll never speak again.
Over all dumbs and dim, one of us will die inside these arms, eyes wide open, naked as we came. One will spread our ashes round the yard.
Indie rock kept my heart from stopping, gave me a roadmap. I was going somewhere, and I wasn't going alone. Someone else had felt these things. The sound of paranoia emerged again. I was doing the wrong thing. Everyone was doing the wrong thing. The world was bigger than me and my 15-year-old problems, so I would occasionally remind myself there were children in Baghdad who would never get to fall in love for the first time.
True enough, I hear they take you away, but you could be home in a day and let the hammer fall. Alone because my friends had places to go, my people had people to know. They never seem so remote. I'm taking it easy if it comes to fate. For the time I've got away. To the bones with the papers of a man that you know. His kids are really gonna grow and leave their daddy home. But it's an easy game. Those clouds in heavy, heavy rain. But lifting is an awful lot of pain. We're gonna be so sure. I'm taking it easy if it comes to fate. But for the time I've got away.
The news cycle was relentless, leading up to the election in November. The Abu Ghraib photos were published in April. The killers made their network television debut a few weeks later, singing a song about the death of a friend, a crime, a murder. The murders we were getting used to, the deaths to which we were becoming inured. The election loomed, and so did defeat, but people were not going to let this happen without being heard. Sparta, made up of most of At the Drive-In, they're going to perform in John Kerry t-shirts, but they're told by CBS about fair use, so they turn their shirts inside out and write vote on them, which sends a more powerful stark message. Pearl Jam, Anger, practically seeping from their pores, played Bob Dylan's Masters of War.
Like Judas of old. Oh, you're lying to see. Oh, we're walking be what you want us to believe. You're hiding white nations. Well, young people's blood flows out of their bodies and it's buried in the mud.
No effects go on Conan.
Global warming, radioactive sites, imperialistic wrongs, and animal rights, yeah. all the bad things when life is so good. Why out within now when there's always a good? Like the whales worry about the poisons in the sea. Outside of California, it's foreign policy. I don't want changes, I have no reaction. Your dilemma, they're my distraction. That's the way to go, Franco, an American. Way to go, Franco, an American. The way to go, Franco, an American. The way to go, Franco, an American.
Green Day brought a 9-minute anti-Bush song from American Idiot to Carson Daly's show. 9 minutes. This much anger, this much force. How could we lose? Just like that. Just like that.
My wife and son, I turned my back on troubles I'd begun. I cut a swath of pain and loss through the hallways of my home. In the quiet of my room, I know the things I've done. Save the hammer for the man. Save the hammer for the man. It's the calling of the wretched. It's the rising of the damned. Save the hammer for the man.
Democrats lost the election. The world seemed like it was ending. The sounds of Baroque despair mock us.
Staring out into that vacuum again, from the back porch of my mind. The only thing that's alive, I'm all there is. And I started attacking my vodka, stabbed the ice with my straw. My eyes, they turned red as stoplights. You seem ready to walk. You know I'll call you eventually when I want to talk. Till then you're invisible. 'Cause there's this switch that gets hit and it all stops making sense. And in the middle of drinks, maybe the 5th or the 6th, I'm completely alone at a table of friends. I feel nothing for them. I feel nothing, nothing.
Austin City Limits is a veritable treasure trove of musical highlights from the last 50 years. A full hour or a half hour of bands bringing their stage show into your living room via PBS. A true gift for kids who thirsted for rock and roll shows and couldn't, despite our best efforts, see every band that blew through town. You get the sense, for instance, of Conor Oberst's angst and diffidence in this hour-long performance as you did from this flamboyant performance on Leno.
When the president talks to God, are the conversations brief or long? Does he ask to rape our women's rights and send poor farm kids off to die? Does God suggest an oil hike when the president talks to God? When the president talks to God, are the consonants all hard or soft? Is he resolute all down the line? Is every issue black or white? Does what God say ever change his mind when the president talks to God?
Emo music starts to become a fixture on the circuit, tapping into young people's collective feeling of helplessness. Bright Eyes, perhaps against the odds, led the pack, becoming something like a hugely popular success after years as an underground bedroom misery shibboleth, the band I listened to after my disastrous first prom.
We must talk in every telephone, get eaten off the web. We must rip out all the epilogues from the books that we have read. Into the face of every criminal strapped firmly to a chair. We must stare, we must stare, we must stare. We must take all of the medicines, too expensive now to sell. Set fire to the preacher who is promising us hell. Into the ear of every anarchist that sleeps but doesn't dream. We must sing, we must sing, we must sing.
They went from the band you listened to at 2 a.m, when you'd lost all hope, to the band everybody turned to for answers great and small. The year would continue to show the way that artists dealt with their anger, how that swell, that connectivity and obviousness of the cultural push to the left had been a red herring. We got tricked by our own optimism, and we'd do it again and again and again.
So when you're asked to fight a war that's over nothing, it's best to join the side that's gonna win. And no one knows how all of this got started, but we're gonna make them damn certain how it's gonna end. Oh yeah, we will. Oh yeah, we will. Singer if I had someone else's voice, but failures always sounded better. Let's boys make some The sun came up with no conclusions. Flowers sleeping in her beds. The city's summer carries on and run away against mine.
Emo music was always popular, but it became a mainstream movement before my eyes. The bulk of emo was about social navigation and dealing with turmoil, about letting kids shriek with untrained voices to the sound of their own trauma and loneliness. Bright Eyes were the kings of this. You couldn't even sing along for the first few records. But then Oberst became a cause celeb, the most political in the emo scene. Emo couldn't help but outgrow its roots as songs you play in your bedroom. It became some of the most popular rock music in the world.
Well, if you want it honesty, that's all you have to say. I never want to let you down or have to do it. My life drops this way, from all the dirt he looks. The photographs your boyfriend took. Remember when you broke up and from jumping out the
Wilco plays Austin City Limits in 2005, playing, among other things, an acidic new version of Ashes of American Flags with new guitarist Nels Cline. About as suitable a song for an era of renewed fervor for the Iraq War as you could hope to hear.
I'm down on my hands and knees every time the doorbell rings. I shake like a toothache when I hear myself sing. All my lies are only wishes. Oh, I would die if I could come back new. I would like to salute the ashes of American flags and all the fallen leaves filling up shopping bags.
The whole show was blistering, the guitars yelling to be heard as Jeff Tweedy's whispered delivery sinks below them. The band had done the rounds of late-night shows to promote their album A Ghost Is Born in 2004. The songs were snappy and fun and catchy. This performance was not. It was cold and quiet and strange. It certainly captured the mood of things.
Thought it was cute for you to kiss purple black eye, even though I caught it from you. I still think we're serious. At least that's what you said.
Breaks through. System of a Down beat the censors in the middle of a heavily cut performance. Guitarist Darren Malakian screams fuck at the wrong place and they couldn't bleep him in time. Max Weinberg, out of nowhere, runs and joins Canadian dance punk band Death From Above in 1979 in the middle of their performance. A seething, manic energy takes over.
Start a family, she was living alone and happily. Good to slight romantic company, to family,
want you, I want you, I don't need you, I want you, don't need you, I want you, I don't need you, I want you, drop down right now, you can't put me to it, I'm alive, living, happily, do it, magic now. Don't need you, want to. Don't need you, want you. I don't need you, want you. I don't need you, want you. Don't need you, want you. I don't need you, want you.
I started noticing something else that seemed kind of revolutionary in response to America's addiction to conflict. A group of Canadian indie rock bands with huge swaths of band members. These performances changed the course of my life. I started a band to be like them, to feel that energy of a dozen misfits all playing the same song. Even if they weren't all Canadian, it felt that way. Nico Case was born in Virginia. The Butler brothers were born in Texas. Jumping ahead in time, these bands kept showing up together with the same personnel, and I was just more and more intoxicated by the idea of a country united against American selfishness and ignorance and infighting. These guys seemed like the real deal. Chasing them became religious for me. It took getting to know them, one of them in particular, to break that spell. But by then it was 2012 and the world had changed again. My life didn't. Not the way I thought it would. My heart broken by broken social scenes Kevin drew, intimidated out of releasing my documentary. It's just as likely that nothing would have come of it. But these are the things you think about while you lie awake at night, unable to sleep. Looking back on this period of my life, I came to understand the phenomenon of reported alien abductions. Who wouldn't want to just be picked up by a rocket ship, whisked away to somewhere only the chosen few ever get to experience? Who wouldn't want to be thought of as special enough to become one of the gods you could only look at when you looked at the sky and saw unreachable figures, faces in the clouds? Who wouldn't want to be pulled on stage and not ever have to go back into the crowd? Who wouldn't want to feel accepted? It's an abnegation of narrative, and it's very seductive. Giving up the pencil you use to write your own life story, to let someone else drive, to let someone else take charge of your life, to say no to more misery and misfortune, to your self-destructive impulses, to give up. It's a very tempting thought. To stop having to be the one who finds meaning in everything. To just let the world happen to you.
Don't lose touch. Don't lose touch. I'm losing touch. I'm losing touch.
I like to remember a better, more positive story told through performances. That of the coming out and transition of Laura Jane Grace, the lead singer and guitarist of Against Me. She played Conan's show a few times and then came back just before Letterman retired to play again, beautifully herself. A lot can change in a few years. She just needed to find herself. Another narrative written in music.
The ease of your pose, the grace
In 2006, there's an emphasis on older classic rock performers, which was probably a reaction to the profligation of young indie musicians, confusion on the political spectrum, and a new brash experimental indie music scene. They had more in common than it probably seemed. Springsteen came back with his Woody Guthrie Sessions Band. New music looking backwards, old music looking forwards. Perfect for an era where time seemed to stand still. Survival after heartbreak, resistance against fascism. These were the themes that emerged. Electric things were happening in music, and nothing good was inspiring it in the wider world.
Well, I thought I heard the captain say, pay me my money down. Tomorrow is our sailing day. Pay me my money down. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. Soon as that boat cleared the bar, pay me my money down. It knocked me down with a spar. Pay me my money down. Pay me my money down. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my money down. Feet up against your will, through the thick and thin. He will wait until you give yourself to him.
Democrats took both houses of Congress back that November. The end appeared to be in sight, but I was barely old enough to drive, and in my name, in our name, 500,000 people were killed. The world had cracked open like an egg, and the disgusting, bloody yolk had slithered out. It couldn't ever be put back in. No one ever learned the lessons that a few good things do not make up for 1,000,000 bad ones. I got caught up believing in a future, even if in my head, images of nuclear war and dystopian disorder were permanent fixtures. I still have the dreams sometimes. In 2007, I received a trip to the Coachella Music Festival as a graduation gift. Suddenly, the landscape of performers on television were like a preview of what I experience when I get there. Even with such a bounty of performers, that wasn't even the whole story. A shift away from a landscape with 1,000,000 options put new emphasis on a new definition of stardom, which meant there was less oxygen for other bands. They just didn't know it yet. You had to stack up against your peers in competition across genres to stay in the conversation as rock music breathed its last breath. But the closer towards the middle you went, the less like yourself you sounded. It was the same thing that happened in American politics, where a quick, terrified push toward centrism became the defining move of the ensuing decades. We still haven't come out from it.
Sweet summer night and I'm stripped to my sheets. Voice leaking, my AC squeaks, and a voice from the clock says you're not gonna get tired. My bed is a pool and the walls on fire. I soak my head in the sink for a while. The chills on my neck and it makes me smile, but my bones have to move and my skin's gotta breathe. You pick up the phone and I'm so relieved. You slide down the stairs to the heated street, and the sun has left us with slippery feet. And I want to walk around with you, and I want to walk around with you, and be here with you. We're on.
Who do we look to for the future? These bands, this great surge of creatively flowering rock music, this was the Big Bang. And next would be silence. Indie rock didn't survive the next decade. I looked to these bands for a utopian ideal, for hooks wrapped up in a big sonic group hug, for sly and snide political posturing, and I got more than I could ever listen to or handle. But I'd have plenty of time to go back and look at it.
By the gasworks, celebrate the ghosts come by. When the love hurts, and the medicine man here 24/7, you can get it fast in Armageddon. Everyone on the way to heaven.
It was all over. All these bands I would see, for the most part, they're gone. Whether broken up or merely irrelevant. Or later, canceled. Almost nobody I worship from this crop is still active today. 2007 looks like a who's who of who we lost. The election of Barack Obama produced a nationwide high. It seemed like pure, irreversible course correction. Everything awful about American politics just seemed to be refuted by our acceptance of this man as our leader. If only we knew. If only we hadn't lied to ourselves. It turned our worst racists even more diabolical, bent by the idea of a black man being held aloft so far above their station. and Obama himself turned into a terrible disappointment. This was not a revolution, and hope was just a slogan, not a maker of public policy. A pilot-light presidency, the legacy of the modern Democratic Party.
Here she comes, from pale bright, makes it so that I don't try anymore. Dressed in white, sad to see that I don't care anymore. Don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Don't care anymore. I don't see so kind in all my fantasy that I can't freak anymore.
Sonic Youth break up after releasing their last album, The Excellent, The Eternal. Sonic Youth broke up in part because Thurston Moore had been carrying on an affair. Imagine it. Betraying Kim Gordon, the queen of rock and roll, the coolest woman alive. The White Stripes break up, playing Conan one last time. They're getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as I write this. Things were changing, or they were ossifying. It felt at the time, as with much of the country's mood, like an exhale. We'd survived. We'd said what we needed to say, and it was time to move on. Ghosts or no ghosts. 2009, the girl breaks up with me. She had been at her internship, and I had been making Super Connected. I was living in squalor in Boston. I was manic, but I was basically happy and falling in love again. Conan was given and then lost The Tonight Show. James Corden took over for Craig Ferguson. Letterman retired and gave the spot to Stephen Colbert. Leno took The Tonight Show back before it was given to the Devil's Court jester, Jimmy Fallon. Only Jimmy Kimmel is still on the air from those heady days of 2004. Musical performances become valedictory. The bands I'd grown up watching came back to do encores, to say that they were now what Bruce Springsteen had been back when we needed him right after 9/11. They were fixtures if they survived. But of course they couldn't ever mean the same thing again. The New York bands, Interpol, Yeah Yeah Yeahs, Grizzly Bear, TV on the radio, somehow they endured, just like New York. They all got the kind of standing ovation showcases at Letterman you'd expect of Springsteen. Survival was hard enough. Every band is an island, every genre only in our heads. I lost touch with my understanding of how music is distributed and what it means. Right around the time it became clear that the future of our country was a hopeless wreck, that there would be no way forward. We'd fight the same wars and lose the same elections over and over and over again, ad infinitum. There would be no change. There would be no hope for a future that was the same for free men as for those in jail with no parole. So what's the point? The system isn't broken, it was designed like this. Record companies turned away from physical media towards streamers so that they'd never have to pay an artist what they were worth ever again. No money on ad buys would ever dent an executive's bottom line ever again. The system is self-perpetuating, self-replicating, self-promoting. Because if you don't do anything, then it works the way it always did. And if you do, the same thing happens. The last new music performance is here, I caught up with by accident. I opened my phone in 2021, and there, 20 years after their debut on Conan O'Brien's show, The Strokes once again. The world had changed, my life had changed, but nothing had changed. And that world is gone now. It lives in my memory and in grainy footage of bands responding to violence. Who thought maybe a song could change your life? And they did. I wouldn't have made it through that decade without music. We'll always need it. Even if just to remember what it felt like to think everything could get better. Everything would be all right.
We can't help it if we are a problem. We are trying hard to get your attention, climbing up your wall, climbing up your wall.
Some days we still hear the gunfire, the thunder, the sound of drums. The sound of the people beating their instruments and wailing for missing girls and murdered women, for injustice and genocide, for change. I look back at 20 years of devastation, but thankfully, what stands up is the art. I remember the people who stood in front of us and said, "Tonight's the night, and enough is enough." The noise continues. May we someday finally listen.
Okay, thank you, Paul. And now performing the aforementioned Mutineer, which is featured on the Best of Warren Zevon CD album entitled Genius. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Warren Zevon.
2025. Warren Zevon is finally inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. More than 20 years after that fateful night on Letterman's show, he said goodbye and vanished. The news is like a hug from an old friend. We'll always have the music.
You're my witness, I'm your mutineer. I was born to rock the boat. Some may sink, but we will float. Grab your coat and let's get out of here. You're my witness, I'm your mutineer. Long ago we left its shadow, lightning flashed, thunder followed us. It could never find us here. You're my witness, I'm your mutineer. Shadow, lightning flashed and thunder followed us. We thought it would never never find us here. You're my witness, I'm your mutineer. I was born to rock the boat. Some may sink, we will float. Grab your coat, let's get out of here. I'm your witness, you're my mutineer. You're my witness, I'm your mutineer. You're my witness, I'm your
Great. What are you doing? Turn around here. Very nice.